So after talking about a team that is kind of dominating, is definitely a lock for the playoffs, we're going to talk about a team that is, not so much. The Dallas Stars absolutely have the talent. They have the roster capable of at least making the playoffs. But right now they're on the outside looking in. Who would have known that the Western Conference was going to be such a bloodbath when it came to the wild card? Let's take a look here. The Nashville Predators right now hold the first wild card with 60 points. They're currently on a 4-game losing streak right now. The LA Kings hold the second one with just a point less at 59. Now here are the teams on the outside. The Anaheim Ducks, they've fallen off a little bit. They currently stand at 57 points. And with the loss to the Arizona Coyotes last night, the Stars are 49 games played, 27, 20, and 2 for 56 points. Currently 3 points out from that second wild card. Is it time to panic yet? Not really. We're still exactly a month out from the trade deadline. So I guess they have time to get themselves back in there. You lose a game like that to the Arizona Coyotes, a team that you should definitely be beating, it's kind of worrisome. Granted, every team has their rough patches, but we're getting to the point where every game counts. Eventually, if they keep losing, the Stars are going to fall behind too much to catch up. Now, that being said, let's go take a look at the players who are putting up the goals, the points, and the wins for the Dallas Stars this season. Starting off with the leading scorer. The leader in scoring for the Dallas Stars is actually a much older player than you would imagine. He's really proving to the NHL that age is just a number. That player is forward Joe Pavelski. With 49 games played, he has 21 goals, 32 assists for 53 points. He's been most notable on the power play with 9 power play goals and 16 power play points this season. It's crazy to see a player at the age of Joe Pavelski putting up the points that he is and leading a team on his back. Now, thankfully, old guys like Joe Pavelski aren't all putting up the points and the goals for this team. The new generation of Dallas Stars forwards are upon us, starting off with 25-year-old Roope Hintz, who had his struggles at the beginning of the season, but has really turned it around. 47 games played, 22 goals, 20 assists for 42 points. Jason Robertson, he's fairly young. He was a Calder finalist last season. 41 games played, 21 goals, 25 assists for 46 points. And the newest of Stars rookies and forwards, Jacob Peterson, with 42 games played, 9 goals, 2 assists for 11 points. A little bit of info on Peterson. He was born in Sweden. He was taken by the Dallas Stars 132nd overall in the 2017 draft, and he's just started playing this season. Talk about holding on to your dreams. Now, that being said, let's go take a look at the defense that has had some rumblings with trade rumors as of late. John Klingberg is causing the most controversy for the Stars defense right now with 42 games played, 1 goal, 25 assists for 26 points. Miro Heiskanen was signed to a big contract in the offseason, and he's putting up the points as a defenseman. 48 games played, 4 goals, 24 assists for 28 points. And then Ryan Sutter, he was brought in the offseason. He hasn't looked too bad. 49 games played, 4 goals, 15 assists for 19 points. Now here's a little bit more info on the John Klingberg situation right now through the Dallas Morning News. Klingberg, 29 years old, will be an unrestricted free agent in the summer and publicly expressed disappointment about his contract extension negotiations with the Stars recently. Klingberg and agent Peter Wallen have permission to speak with other teams about an extension. And Sportsnet reported last week that the Stars have stepped up their efforts to trade Klingberg. Klingberg is on the final year of a 7-year contract that carries a $4.25 million cap hit. He is eligible to sign a maximum 8-year extension with Dallas, and reportedly won $63 million on that contract. The Stars have balked at that figure, creating an environment where Klingberg wants to find his next deal, and the Stars could fetch a ransom for trading him away. Klingberg and the Stars both know that if he goes to free agency, he can get offered an upwards of $8.5 to $9 million. And with the need for defensemen right now in the market, it is very imperative that the Dallas Stars trade him, and not only trade him, but trade him right. Now, the only team that I can think of that was interested in him on the top of my head is the Carolina Hurricanes, but I'm sure other teams that are looking for a top 4 defenseman have definitely looked in on Klingberg. It also doesn't help that the Arizona Coyotes are trying to shop their top defenseman, Jakob Chychrun. Now, moving on from that whole discussion, let's go take a look at the Dallas Stars Goaltender Triangle. Starting off with Jake Ottinger. He is 15-6-0 with a 2.34 goals against average and a .921 save percentage. He has not looked bad for the Stars. Kind of a underrated contender for the Vezina, although I've been putting everyone in the Vezina race. He's probably not going to win it. Braden Holtby there, he was brought in the offseason. He is 9-10-1. He is a 2.78 goals against average and a .912 save percentage. He doesn't look bad for his struggling year in Vancouver last season. And then Anton Kudov, who's been with the Stars for a while, 3-4-1 with a 3.63 goals against average and a .879 save percentage. It's sad that Kudobin went from the backbone that carried his team to the Stanley Cup Finals to a struggling veteran who is on waivers. The Stars have also tried to trade Anton Kudobin, but have not had as much luck as they've had with John Klingberg. I think the main reason why you haven't had as much luck with him as you've had with other goalies in the past is because he's older, his contract's a little bit worse, and he has not been good this season. So I guess whether you like it or not, Anton Kudobin is there to stay in Dallas. Now, to wrap this video off, let's take a look at the upcoming schedule for your Dallas Stars, and it is not a good one at all. They start off playing Wednesday the 23rd against the Winnipeg Jets, a day after this video is recorded. Then they have a back-to-back against the Nashville Predators on the 24th. Then they play the Buffalo Sabres. That's probably the easiest game out of all the 8 I have listed here. Then they play the LA Kings to start off March. Then they play the Jets again. Then they play the Minnesota Wild. Then they play the Preds again. Then they go to the Rangers before they start their Eastern Conference road trip through Montreal, Toronto, Washington, before they have their final game on April 29th. So there's still some time, but their schedule doesn't look entirely too promising for the Stars right now. So if you're Jim Nill, what are you looking at for the trade deadline right now? I imagine he's looking at some secondary and depth scoring, because I think that's something the Dallas Stars definitely need, and probably another defenseman to solidify it. And he's probably definitely looking in on the John Klingberg situation very closely. Now, with the Klingberg situation, I would definitely look in on Boston, because Boston has the pieces that Dallas could use, especially Jake DeBrusk. You put Jake DeBrusk with a guy like Rupe Hintz, he could get his scoring back and provide much-needed secondary scoring for the Dallas Stars. So we'll see where this team goes. We'll see if they can turn it around and make the playoffs, or will they fall off and miss the playoffs for a second straight season since making the Stanley Cup Finals. We'll see where John Klingberg goes, we'll see what they acquire for him, and we'll see if the Dallas Stars can turn this season around. Anyways, guys, that is it for me. If you guys want to see some more Dallas Stars related content, take a look at my eye icon right here. It'll have all my Dallas Stars videos, all Dallas Stars related, in one playlist ready for you to watch. Thank you all for watching. For us personally, I really do appreciate it. If you guys could let me know in the comments below where you think the Dallas Stars will go. Will they make the playoffs? What would you want for Klingberg? If your team was trading for John Klingberg, what would you trade back to Dallas? Thank you all for watching. For us personally, and I'll see you guys in the